Hi guys, today I am back to film the blush tag. I don't think I was tagged by anyone in particular, but this was requested, so I am going to go ahead and get started. Let's see, the first question is best packaging. So best packaging to me can mean kind of two things. Kind of can mean most practical packaging or prettiest packaging. So I chose the Milani blushes. These are just the powder blushes, but they are, in my opinion, the prettiest and the most practical. So the reason that I say they're the prettiest is because I think the gold ring is just a really kind of fancy, pretty to look at. And then of course there is the blush itself, which looks like a rose. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful detailing. And I'm glad they did a clear lid because who doesn't want to look at that? But the other reason I think it's most practical too is because since the lid is clear, when these are stored in my makeup drawers, I can easily tell what color they are. Because it's clear, so I can see all the different colors. I can easily pick out which ones I would want to use. This one here is in Coral Cove, but I do have Romantic Rose, and then this is the newest one to my collection. This is Blossom Time Rose. This one's kind of like a NARS Orgasm a little bit. It's like a peachy pink with like gold shimmer in it. It doesn't have glitter, it's like shimmer. These definitely get my vote though for best packaging. Next up is Prettiest Color. Honestly, it is really hard to pick one for Prettiest Color, but I did pick one of my most used blushes just because every time I look at it, I just feel drawn to wearing it because of the color. So this is the NYX Baked Blush in Ladylike. It is just this beautiful warm pink with gold like glitter in it. Glitter, shimmer, I don't know, it's kind of more shimmer. There's a swatch of it there. Just every time I see it, I'm like, I want to wear that. It's so pretty. So this is probably one of the prettiest colors in my collection just because I always feel drawn to wearing it whenever I see it. So this is a definite favorite for me. Most Pigmented is the next one. So honestly, this is kind of down to a tie, but I'm going to say this one because I think that overall this one is a little bit more pigmented. This is the NYX Square Blush in Desert Rose. I mean, it's bright and it's beautiful, but watch this. It is just so pigmented. So super pigmented. I don't know, it's just one of the most pigmented blushes I have. It's something that I do have to be very careful with and work very lightly with, but I mean, it's a gorgeous color. It's beautiful. It's beautiful on too. Just like I said, gotta be light-handed, gotta work with it very lightly. Number 4 is Everyday Blush. So I would have to say probably my favorite everyday blush. I'm thinking like if I had to wear one blush every day for a whole year, I would probably choose Benefit Dandelion. I know that would probably surprise some of you guys, but the reason I like this one is because it looks good with cool toned eye looks, it looks good with warm toned eye looks, it looks good with subtle makeup, with dramatic makeup, it looks good with everything. So if I had to wear a blush every day for a year, I would probably choose Benefit Dandelion. There are other blushes that I do love and would wear all the time too, but some of them are just more warm toned and they don't look good with everything. This is Benefit Dandelion here. I don't know, it just looks good with everything. So if I had to choose an everyday blush, that's what I would pick. Next is Party Blush. This is new to my collection, but I'm assuming when they say party blush, they are meaning something bright and fun and colorful. So this is definitely that blush. This is the Makeup Revolution Matte Blush, and this is in the color Divine. It is a bright, almost hot pink. It is kind of more cooler toned. This could easily compete for like most pigmented too because, I mean, it's pretty pigmented. But it's definitely a brighter color. I don't have anything like it. It's cooler toned. It's right here below Dandelion, but this to me is definitely a party blush because it's not something I would wear every day probably. So that is definitely my party blush. Next up is Regret Purchasing, and this might kind of come as a shock, but it is the ColourPop blushes. It's beautiful. This is in the color Between the Sheets. It's matte, it's creamy, beautiful, very pigmented. However, I just don't really wear cream blushes. This is kind of a cream to powder, but still I just find myself not reaching for it because I don't really love it. I just feel like they're a little difficult to apply because they are a cream. So I just find myself not really reaching for it. But that is a swatch of it there. Like I said, very pigmented and very creamy. The formula is great, I just don't particularly love this formula and the ways to apply it because I feel like I have to use my fingers. I've tried using it with stippling brushes and that kind of works, but I feel like then I'm like really digging into the product to get some on the brush. So I kind of regret purchasing this just because it's not the easiest to apply. Next up is least used, which I do have a ton of blushes that I don't use that often, but I've only ever used this one once and you guys saw that on camera. It is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Ombre Blush in a Purple Haze. I got this because it's cheap and it's a fun color. I was really drawn to the Urban Decay Purple Blush in Bittersweet, but I was just like, I'm not going to wear it that often, so why would I pay that much for a very purple blush? But as you can see, this kind of goes from like an icy pink to a purple, and it looks that way on the cheeks too. It's kind of an icy pinky purple color. It's beautiful, but I just don't really reach for it that much. It's just kind of a fun one. It's there below between the sheets. It's fun, but I just don't use it that much. So next up is most used or would never let go of, and it's actually the same thing. It is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Blush, and it's ombre blush, but this one is in the color the Princess Daiquiris. I've talked about this in favorites videos so many times. I love this. This blush is like holy grail for me. I don't know if these are limited edition or not, but if they are, I'm gonna run out and buy like 2 more of these because I love this blush. This blush just brings my face to life. It is one of my all-time favorites. The only thing is it is kind of warm toned, so I don't generally wear it with like cooler toned looks. It really doesn't look like anything special, but I mean, once it's on the face, it's beautiful. I love it. So there's a little swatch of it there, but it definitely makes me want to try more Wet n Wild blushes because I actually only have these ombre ones. I haven't even tried their normal permanent line of blushes, but it makes me want to try more just because I love this one so much, and I feel like they might have more that are just some holy grail favorites for me. So love this one. Like I said, it's limited edition. I'm definitely purchasing more because I don't want to be without it. It is just one of my absolute favorite blushes. Number 9 is favorite blush brand. I don't really have one. There's tons that I like. I like the Benefit blushes. I like the MAC blushes. I love NYX. They have the baked blushes, which I really like. Like I said, I've been enjoying these Wet n Wild ones, Tarte, Milani. There's tons of great ones, but I wouldn't say I have a favorite. So that one for me is really hard. If I had to pick one blush brand for the rest of my life, I honestly think I would probably pick the Milani blushes or the Wet n Wild ones. I love those and they're very inexpensive. I could also kind of get on board with doing MAC for the rest of my life too because they have a ton of great selections and I do really love their blushes as well. So those are kind of my top 3, I guess. Number 10 is greatest blush discovery of last year. So these, I'm pretty sure I got them last year. I've been using them a ton. I might have got them the year before, but I'm pretty sure I got them last year. I feel like I did. But these are the NYX Baked Blushes. They say blush plus illuminator plus bronzer. I think it depends on what colors you get. Some of them do kind of work as an illuminator and some of them do work a little bit more as a bronzer. But this is one of my favorite shades. I have talked about this a ton during the fall. This would be like my everyday fall blush, honestly. But this is in the color Chiffon. Mine kind of has hard pan right here. That's why the middle kind of looks a little weird because the middle's not hard pan. But I mean, it's just stunning. It's such a pretty color. There is a swatch of it there. It's kind of it's almost kind of a rose gold color a little bit. Like a bronzy rose gold. I don't know. It's beautiful though. I've talked before about how I feel like this is kind of a dupe for Benefit Rockatours, but this is more pigmented and, in my opinion, better. I love Rockateur, but this one is stunning, so I would have to say that these are my favorite blush discovery of the last year. Next up is Most Practical. This is again another blush that I could really wear every day. I love it. It's just beautiful. It is the Tarte Celebrated blush. I actually don't have any Tarte blushes. I got rid of all of the ones I had, and this is the only one I keep because I love it. The Tarte blushes are nice. They don't swatch very nicely, but they do apply to the face really nicely and they wear really nicely. But a lot of their colors are very, very pigmented and I have to use a light hand. This is one of the few that I do not. I could go as heavy-handed as I want with this and I wouldn't look crazy. It's just beautiful. Like I said, I could over apply and it doesn't look bad. I could apply it very, very lightly and it's very natural looking. I love this blush. I will try to swatch it for you guys, but like I said, they don't swatch super fantastic. This one's not too bad, I guess, but it's there below chiffon. And I don't know, I just love this one. It's one of the best long wearing blushes I have too. So next up is Least Practical. This kind of also goes into the most pigmented, but this is the Kat Von D blush, and this is in the color Heartagram. I kind of bought this because of many reasons, but I mean the color itself is like a pretty wine color. It looks a lot like the NYX Square blush in Desert Rose. It's pretty similar. The only thing is this one has shimmer and this one is more matte. But this is, again, not really that practical because I cannot just go ham with this and apply it. Like, I have to be light-handed with it because it is very, very pigmented. Another little swatch, but there it is there. As you can see, super pigmented. It's very, very creamy. I love it. She doesn't make these blushes anymore. She did have those like shape and contour ones or whatever, but she, I think, actually pulled those too because they were not getting some great reviews. But this is definitely not the most practical. However, I will probably keep this forever because even if I quit wearing it, it's kind of one of those items that I've kind of collected. It has kind of a lot of memories and sentimental things for me, so I love this one and I will probably keep it forever. But again, definitely not the most practical. It kind of also goes for most expensive. I don't remember the exact price of this, but I feel like these two kind of were competing for most expensive. I don't own a lot of expensive blushes. I just kind of don't really feel like I see the point because there are plenty of drugstore and affordable options out there that are fantastic. I mean, I know Makeup Revolution is one I have heard a lot about lately, and it's super affordable. So me personally, I don't get super excited about blushes. I don't spend a lot of money on blushes. So like I said, I think these are probably the more expensive ones I have. I do have two MAC blushes too, but these are going to be going back to MAC, and I'm going to be picking up some different colors. This one here is in Breath of Plum, which you guys might recognize from Project Pan. And then this one here that is almost completely gone. This one is Well Dressed. This one I will probably definitely pick up again. It's a pretty cool toned pink color. So, I don't know. Out of these three, one of them is the most expensive. But, like I said, I don't spend a lot of money on blush. Least expensive. This one again. This is the NYX Square Blush in Desert Rose. The reason that this is the least expensive in my collection is because NYX was currently getting rid of these and we were getting the HD blushes in. So I actually got this on clearance for 99 cents plus my discount. So I think it was like 74 cents or something like that. It was very, very cheap. And I love it. It's, like I said, kind of impractical. It's very pigmented, very bright, but for 99 cents, I really don't, well, I guess 74 cents, I really don't regret buying it. So that is definitely my least expensive blush. But that is it for this blush tag. I don't have a ton of blushes. I've pretty much showed you guys all of them in this video. There are a few I have that I didn't show, but not very many. Most of the ones I didn't show are NYX Baked blushes. But for the most part, that is pretty much all of my blushes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tag. I tag you to do this if you would like to do it. And I will have more Get Ready With Me's, tags, and all that fun stuff coming up soon. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!